there, I'm Kelly Damphousse, Chancellor here at Arkansas State University, and welcome to this edition of the First Friday video. Today we are continuing our series of discussing our strategic plan, Discover 2025. Today we'll be talking about the teaching and learning pillar of our plan. Teaching is the essence of what we do here at Arkansas State University, and today I've invited our Provost, Dr. Alan Utter, who also serves as our Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, and we'll be talking about the teaching and learning pillar of our plan. Welcome to the First Friday video, Alan.
Well, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate the invite to chat with you this morning.
Yeah, great. So one of the things that I think is very interesting about how higher education has evolved over time is we've developed a curriculum that allows every student to have a basic learning experience, and we call that here general education. And I know that part of the plan has to do with adjusting how we think about general education at Arkansas State. Can you tell us a little bit more about what general education means and then what our plan is going forward?
Yeah, Kelly, I think that's a great question, and you articulated that well. When we talk about general education, we're typically referring to the general knowledge that we would like to see our students leave here with when earning their baccalaureate degree. Prior to my arrival on campus, our general education committee had done really an extensive evaluation of our general education program and made some recommendations about potential changes in our general education curriculum. So our task force was formed this year, and our task force is being chaired by Joe Ford with a number of faculty across campus to look at general education. So our task force can come back and say, well, we really think what we have is working well. We don't need to change anything. Or they may come back and say, well, I think we need to tweak a little bit our general education program. Or they may come back and say, we recommend that you totally revise the gen ed program. And what might that look like? That may look like opposed to having, for example, defined courses in science and in communication or in fine arts and humanities, they may come back with a general education curriculum that says our students should take courses in various themes. And those themes may have titles like climate, Hamilton, wellness, the planet, writing across the curriculum. So these are some of, I would say, the general topics that I would like our Gen Ed task force to tackle in the upcoming year.
You know, it's very interesting. I think sometimes students, when they figure out how college works, they tend to think, I'm going to get my gen eds out of the way and then start focusing on my specific discipline. And I think the movement we're moving towards, and we see this nationally, is having a much more broader gen ed curriculum that actually goes across the entire 4 years, which might allow students to get more quickly into their discipline early on in their career rather than waiting until their second and third year. So that's interesting to see that. Now, one of the parts of the goals that's very interesting is that we're trying to make sure that every student who comes here and earns a degree at Arkansas State has what we call a high impact experience and an interdisciplinary experience as well. That's kind of a unique perspective here. Can you talk about what those two ideas mean?
Yeah, and again, this goal came out of the work that was done by the committee, the Academic Affairs Committee of the Strategic Plan, where they felt that it was critical that every one of our students that leave here with a baccalaureate degree, that they've engaged in a high impact practice or a high impact activity or experiential learning. Students are engaging with faculty or professionals outside of the classroom, outside of our typical delivery of knowledge to students. So these experiences can include, for example, engaging with a faculty member side by side in his or her laboratory, field, studio, in a research or a creative endeavor. So they're learning by rolling up their sleeves and engaging in research and understanding how it's actually done. And the more interdisciplinary we can make these, the better. So again, I think an interdisciplinary activity, going back to a theme in our general education curriculum, if we have courses that are interdisciplinary taught, so a course maybe on on health and wellness, but we're teaching it from the vantage point of physical health, public health, the economics of poor health, the psychological disadvantages of an unhealthy community. So again, looking at it from interdisciplinary perspectives, both in the delivery of courses, the delivery of themes, interdisciplinary research, of what I'll talk a little bit more, maybe if we have a chance to talk about some of our research initiatives.
That's fantastic. You know, one of the interesting things about the history of higher education is we started off very early on being very specific, like you're going to get an accounting degree and all your classes would be in accounting. And then we broadened it and said, well, we need to give you a more liberal arts perspective and small L liberal, we want you to give you a more well-rounded experience here so you understand more about the world around us in addition to accounting. And then we started to build up these silos between, general education and accounting and so on. And now we're moving to a phase in higher education where we're trying to bring this all back together again and to blend it more so we have a more interdisciplinary perspective so that people can connect the things I learned in my general education discipline with my specific discipline of study. And so that we're not saying this is gen ed and this is my curriculum, but to tie those things together. And that's really an interesting decision that we've made here at Arkansas State to move towards a more blended perspective. It's interesting that one of the things we're asking our faculty to do is to come up with new and unique teaching opportunities and learning opportunities for our students, to create new areas of study. I know that one of our colleges, for example, recently developed a new curriculum in the College of Engineering. And so we're going to talk now with Abhijit Bhattacharyya, who's the Dean of Engineering. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this new degree program you've got? It's a data science and data analytics. It sounds very high tech.
Kelly, there's tremendous interest in the state among the private sector, government, nonprofits, and academia to work together to increase the number of data scientists and data analysts joining the workforce. The reason is simple. There's a tremendous amount of data that's being generated in all sectors of the economy, while computers have become more powerful than ever before. This allows the data science and data analytics community to do, among other things, predictive analytics, to forecast trends and identify problems before they appear. My colleagues at A-State recognized the need to add to the workforce, and over a period of 9 months, intense discussions led to the proposal of a new, highly interdisciplinary Bachelor of Science in Data Science and Data Analytics that spans 6 different colleges to be launched in fall 2021.
That's really enlightening, Abhijit. What's interesting, I think, is that over time, higher education tends to develop silos. And I think what's happening in higher education, and I'm really excited that it's happening here at A-State, is that we recognize that the true innovations happen when those silos come together and meet. And that's where the new discovery is. And that's where new learning opportunities are as well. New discovery opportunities are at the margins of these silos. And what we're trying to do here with these centers is to break down those silos. Now, these are research areas, but they're also developed into teaching areas and create really wonderful opportunities for our students to learn more about this discipline. Can you talk more about what the opportunities would be like for our students?
This program goes against that silo approach. What we've done is work with our colleagues across 6 different colleges to bring together the data science and data analytics program that's going to train students not only in the principles of data science. And when I say that, I mean that the students will be trained not only in coding, but in the development of databases, ethics, data ethics, as well as data visualization. These are different components that typically go into a data science and data analytics program. The other thing that I'm really proud of is that the new program is very much rooted in the philosophy that the students need exposure to real-world problems and challenges before they graduate from the program. Towards that end, internships with academic credit are part of the program. Students will also be required to go through a team-based, culminating capstone design experience. Projects will be sought from sectors as diverse as healthcare, social work, manufacturing, retail, to name a few. So to sum it all up, this program brings across colleagues from different disciplines. Not only that, but also experts from a wide variety of service providers and different sectors of the economy to help the students grow in the program.
What's really exciting about this project is that you're right, we live in a digital age and data is being created all the time, everywhere. And so this initiative aligns with the governor's initiative on coding in high schools. So many high school students are learning about coding will come here and have an enhanced opportunity to learn more about data analytics as well, how to manage all those incredibly large data sets. And so that's really exciting. Thank you so much, Abhijit, for coming and sharing about what's going on in the College of Engineering and Computer Science. I just received today a list of all the innovative teaching areas that every one of our colleges is engaging in. And I'm excited to see each of our colleges make these innovations and change the way we're teaching our students, not just the topics, but how we're teaching our students in these very innovative ways. Thank you so much. So now, Alan, we're going to turn back to you and talk about another part of our strategic plan, which is looking at current and existing academic programs and talk about how we can either adjust them or assess their viability.
Yeah, Kelly, this is an important area of any institution of higher education to evaluate the delivery of current academic programs and to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our students, we're meeting the societal needs and industry needs, and are we offering curriculum that best prepares our students to go out and enter the world in which we're currently living in. I'll give you an example, and this example happened prior to my arrival here at Arkansas State University. We had a very active and viable dairy operation, again, which allowed for research and it allowed for teaching opportunities, in part due to the regional dairy herd needs in the local community. Well, the dairy industry is really no longer a significant part of our agricultural footprint here in northeastern Arkansas. But going through that process, what we've discovered is that there is a significant need for more veterinarians within our region of the state and also within the state of Arkansas itself. And this then has led to another group that is looking at the potential to develop a vet school here on our campus. And also would be the first vet school within the state of Arkansas. We hope that this process will again stem from faculty assessing their own programs within their academic units, within their colleges, and ultimately making recommendations to the task force on potential changes for our academic offerings here at the institution.
There is a definite ebb and flow over a century plus number of years here at Arkansas State. Some degrees that we used to offer no longer exist, and certainly we've added new degrees as well, and that's part of the planning process. We just have to be very strategic about this process, and that's the whole idea behind the plan. So I appreciate your leadership there. One of the things that's been a hallmark of this whole strategic plan process has been collaboration. We had faculty, staff, and students, alumni, community leaders, all involved in the plan. But this pillar here about teaching and learning will take a lot of collaboration across departments. Can you talk about how our faculty will work together to enhance our teaching and learning experience here at A-State?
Yeah, Kelly, I think that's a great question, and it really goes back to the focus on interdisciplinarity approach and an interdisciplinarity approach to the delivery of our curriculum, to research initiatives on campus. If you look at, for example, our Biosciences Institute, the ABI, where we have faculty from many areas in the science that are collaborating together on innovative research initiatives. Our Delta Center is another example. Our heritage sites would be a great example of again, how we're looking at topics and delivering education and educational opportunities to our students from a multidisciplinary perspective. I'll end, Kelly, here just with a new research that has been developed, our Center for No Boundaries Thinking. Again, here is another interdisciplinary research center that will tackle research problems and real-world problems coming from a focus of artificial intelligence, bioinformatics, data science. Our first meeting, we had 25 faculty from across campus. All 7 colleges were represented. These 25 faculty are going to be the inaugural faculty appointments in this new Center for No Boundaries Thinking that again exemplifies the importance of interdisciplinary thought in the delivery of our education on campus.
You know, it's really exciting. These are research areas, but they're also, we're a research university, but when we establish research areas, oftentimes what develops are teaching and learning opportunities as well, new degree plans and so on. So there's an intimate relationship between teaching and research on a research campus like Arkansas State University. And you mentioned the Center for No Boundaries Thinking. That's a perfect example there. There'll be degree programs that flow out of that. Another exciting program that was first developed by the Strategic Planning Steering Committee and has now been adopted by the deans of our college is this idea of creating a Rural Studies Institute or Rural Studies Center. There are a lot of urban studies centers that exist on college campuses around the country, but we have to take advantage of our geographical location. And because we're in the Delta, because we're surrounded by many rural communities, because Arkansas is a rural state in many ways, we think that this is a very niche area for us to get into. It's interdisciplinary because every college will be attached to this new center on rural studies, and it's an exciting example of how new research areas will develop new teaching and learning opportunities for our students as well. Well, thank you, Alan, for being part of this important discussion of our teaching and learning pillar of our Discover 2025 strategic plan.
Kelly, thank you, and you're certainly welcome, and it's been my pleasure.
Well, that wraps up our first Friday video for this month. Don't forget, you can always follow me on social media at KDAMP, and if you have any questions you want to reach out to me directly, you can always email me at chancellor@astate.edu. Until we meet again, wolves up.